Okay, so for those of you who don't know, recently High Point announced that they're going to be putting out a new model in mid to late summer of 2019. Ended up being late summer of 2019. We'll talk about that later. But they announced a poll saying, give us your ideas for the name, the model number and the name of the gun, and we'll have all of you vote on it, and whatever wins, that's the name of the gun. Well, big surprise, the crazy gun community came up with a weird name that they wanted to have High Point name their firearm. And it was the YC9, or the Yeet Cannon 9. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to give you a definition here. Yeet, defined in the dictionary, is an exclamation of excitement, approval, surprise, or all-around energy, often as issued when doing a dance move or throwing something. So apparently the YC9 is meant to jubilantly throw rounds downrange whilst doing a dance. I'm not familiar with that, but whatever. I like it though. I like it when gun communities do that, or gun companies do that. It's a bigger company, they're a reputable company, but they're still letting the gun community give their customers what they want. They're being a little silly with it, and I like seeing that. It's funny. It's still a good gun, but why not name it? Whatever. Doesn't change the functionality of the firearm. So then getting into the Gen 1, they announced the Gen 2. The Generation 2 with the improvements does not come out until mid-November. They came out with the Generation 1 as an appetizer. That will be coming out next week. Today, as of filming this video, it's July 10th, so that'll be coming out the following week after that. The one that's coming out is just your standard C9. No real changes, except for you can obviously see the bright silver Yeet cannon engraved on the side of the slide. So they're doing this just as an appetizer for you guys, get you interested. These ones are a limited run, so the Gen 1s, just because, it's a standard C9, they're just doing it to kind of get things going before the Generation 2 comes out in November. Something to note about the Generation 2. The first run is a limited run, so the name will always be the YC9. It will always be the Yeet Cannon 9, but only the first run will actually have the silver Yeet Cannon engraved on the slide. So if you want your Yeet Cannon to actually say it in big silver letters, you have to get it out of the first run, because after that, the slide will just be flat black. So this is the Gen 1. It's just a standard C9. Nothing they've changed other than the engraving. It's got a 3.5-inch barrel, overall length of 6 3/4. It's about 29-30 ounces, and it's an 8-shot magazine. We've seen the C9s before. We've talked about High Points before, so there's nothing new there, just the engraving. And they have adjustable sights, which you guys know. So I like it. I like that they're naming it something funny. I think that's hilarious, and I like that the gun companies is, again, giving the customers what they want, because who really cares? And it's a fun thing. It attracts attention, and people are going nuts for it. Also, I like that they're actually trying to improve on their design. I always like to see that. You get companies like Glock. Glock does minor improvements to their gun, but they really don't change the overall form factor. Like, yeah, okay, we'll take the finger grooves off, or we'll make it a different black, but Glocks will always feel boxy, and they'll always be the same shape and the same grip angle, because Glock is really set in their ways. They say, our design works, and we are Glock, so we're not changing it. But High Point, listen to their people. They're changing the way they mill their slide. They're adding some different grips. They're putting a threaded barrel on the new YC9. So they're actually actively listening to their customers and saying, how can we make our design better? They're adding forward cocking serrations. The serrations here, which left a little bit to be desired before, are going to be a lot more aggressive and actually up onto the frame. So you'll be able to get a lot better grip. It's going to have a threaded barrel, which I could take a lever threaded barrel, but a lot of people like that. You can put a compensator, or if you have one, thread a suppressor on there. And they're improving the trigger. High Point trigger is usable, it's serviceable. I mean, you can get good hits with it, fast or a little bit slower at distance. You just have to really try, because it's got a heavier pull. So when it breaks, it breaks hard, if that makes sense. You got to put a lot of force, and then it'll finally give, and you can pull your shots if you're not trying not to. The new one is going to have an improved trigger, a little bit different trigger shoe design. So they're working to improve their overall pistol. It's still got High Point form factor. It's still really tall. It's still heavy. But they are trying to make the design better, which I love. So that is our briefing on the YC Generation 1 and the new YC9 Generation 2 coming from High Point. We're excited to see it. I'm probably going to pick myself one up just for the novelty of having it. And that's really it. We're going to wait until mid-November, and then we should have another video out about the YC9 Generation 2. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please yeet this video, leave a yeet, and subscribe to our channel. I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and we will see you next yeet.
Yes.